Alright, what's up everybody? We are on Season 1, Episode 7 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is called Assault. Yeah, it's definitely looking to be a pretty big episode coming up, of course, with how the last one ended. Gojo essentially getting that surprise attack by one of the cursors who we had seen hanging around with Geto the whole time, and they talked about this plan that they had for Gojo, right? Using the prison realm, I guess it was called, to, I think what they wanted is to basically contain him somewhere, kind of, I guess, lock him up in the same type of way, I guess, like it sort of happened to Yuji, or I guess something similar to that. I mean, that was called the innate domain. I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff, right, and how it works, but again, like, we're gonna see that fight, so I wonder what the outcome of it is going to be. But I will say, last episode, I mean, I kind of talked about it being this almost full-on comedy episode, right, and I definitely laughed my ass off throughout it, but at the same time, it did give me so much food for thought. Where it was especially, of course, those first 5 minutes and the kind of confrontation which Yuji had with Sukuna, that was the most fascinating part that you could theorize about a lot, right? Because obviously Sukuna offered him this pact, where he gave him a couple of like conditions, for example, that Yuji wouldn't be able to remember that they actually made the pact, right? But also he gave him the promise of like, okay, I won't use it to actually kill or hurt anybody, and you are forced to give me control when I say a certain word or whatever. I think it was extension, and then you give me control for a minute. And it's like, okay, what is he actually trying to do there, right? So I think, like, I've actually been going through this now in the past couple of days since watching that episode, because I want to try and actually figure it out in advance, right? And we saw a couple of scenes, I will say, with Megumi that were fascinating. And it reminded me also about the fact that, of course, we saw Sukuna have this confrontation with Megumi in episode 5 already. Yeah, where, well, the thing basically that I figured out, I guess, right, is that Megumi was actually thinking back to the confrontation that he used to have with Sukuna at the end of last episode, I think it was. I don't even think I included that part in the edit because I didn't realize how important it was. And he mentioned how I think Sukuna had actually told him, you know, that like it was a waste of. I mean, it seemed like Sukuna was trying to manipulate him into thinking that he might perhaps be stronger than he actually is, because Sukuna had essentially indicated to him that like, oh, you might actually be able to take out these special great curses, where Megumi had figured that like he just wouldn't have the power for that, right? So he was actually talking with Maki and, you know, the panda and stuff about upgrading his powers, this and that, and he had, again, it seems like he's trying to. Or he's figuring out that Sukuna was hinting that like, oh, he's actually much stronger than he thinks he is. But again, that might very well be manipulation. I noticed about the episode previous to that Sukuna had started talking about how like he noticed Megumi's shikigami, that's what they're called, right? The animals that he uses. Like, that's the one thing, because again, I'm trying to figure out like, what is Sukuna's endgame here then? I mean, he's saying that he isn't allowed to hurt people and stuff, but clearly that's the only thing that Sukuna wants to do. We basically figured that out from the very first episode, where he was just talking about like going on an all-out rampage and killing as many people as possible, women, children, this and that. Like, his goals seem very straightforward. But yeah, he already said to Yuji, like I just pointed out, that's not what I will be allowed to do here. So then what is he trying to do, right? And I think in some way it's going to be making use of Megumi. And I don't know if that means like he's trying to control those Shikigami, or if he's trying to control Megumi, or again, like what is the exact endgame? It is very hard to guess with a world like this where basically anything can happen and it's all very supernatural and you don't know. Again, you just don't know what you're in for, right? Same thing with the prison realm that I talked about and stuff. Like, what are they exactly going to execute? I don't know. I just think that's the direction that we're heading in for. And Sukuna is trying to use Megumi in some type of way. And that's what we're setting up. I don't know if we'll get around to it anytime soon yet, because for now, like I said, we're going to get that fight coming up with Gojo. And that's maybe the one other thing that I can touch on, is that with Sukuna talking about these pacts, this pact that he made with Yuji, he described it as like, oh, it's like an ancient, almost sorcerer tradition, I guess, that like between two sorcerers, these pacts happen all the time. So I'm gonna just have to take that for granted, I guess, and assume that it's true. And it actually reminded me of Gojo in the reaction, and you might have seen it there already, but I feel like I might very much be onto something, having already seen the movie, that like, we know Gojo left Geto alive, right? And I don't I don't question Gojo's intentions. I definitely think that like he has the right ideas in mind and he's doing all of it for a good purpose, to put it like that. But it does make me wonder, like, is it possible that he actually made a pact with Geto? Because we know that those two had a lot of history. They went to Jujutsu High, I guess, together as students, right? And they were in the same year and they were essentially best friends. So it just makes me think that, like, out of just seeing that there might still be some good inside of Geto, even though, of course, it's very hard for us to see that right now. He might know from that backstory that there could be like a redeeming factor, and that, again, they made some type of pact, which I don't know if it's playing out the way that they made it or whatever, right? Or like what the real end game was there, but I assume he made it out of good intentions ultimately. But yeah, it just makes me question that. Because again, Gojo was supposed to have killed Geto in a moment there, and he clearly was seeing here Geto is still alive in the show. So what actually happened there in that confrontation that the two had, right? I can only assume that a pact might actually be something that they made then, seeing as it was said literally in the show just now how that is, something that happens all the time. So again, I hope I'm I'm trying my very best to catch on to as much as possible. It's a very fast-paced show, and like it definitely requires you to actually go through it all. And like I said, I've been literally rewatching previous episodes and scenes to make sure that I got the clues out of it. But I hope that it's been worth it, to put it like that, and I might be onto a couple things, but of course could also just be the case that I'm completely off, and we're gonna see where it goes. Guys, for now, I'm very excited to head into this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, so that's exactly what we're going to do. But of course, let me quickly remind you that if you enjoy my reactions to this show, you can already watch the next 4 episodes right now over on my Patreon. That is linked on top of the description as always. Over there, also, there will be my reaction to the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie. So again, if you enjoy my content, you can already catch up on a bunch of episodes and see my reaction to the movie as well as a nice little bonus. So yeah, definitely go and check it out. Linked on top of the description as always, along with full-length reactions if you want to see me react to the episodes in their entirety. And yeah, then with that being said, let's dive into episode 7 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Here we go. You wonder if Geto is somewhere here too, or if it's just this guy alone. I would guess so. What is he even called? The volcano monster? Oh shit. Damn, dude. That was a strong attack. Well, I guess this isn't it yet. Oh, did he create some kind of barrier around him? Wow, he's calling him a brat now. Unregistered? Oh shit. Wow, look at those black teeth. What the hell was that? What does he keep? Does he keep throwing it out himself and then okay, it goes back in? Insects? Alright. I love it. He turned them into pixels. Oh shit. Wait. Did he pull his face in or? I can't even tell, dude. Oh my god, this guy keeps underestimating him. Exactly, it's literally a repeat. Oh, I love how they're just going on about it too. The infinity? Oh my god. Can he not touch him? Oh shit. No, there really is like a barrier kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, that's... Oh, really? So that's why it's infinity. Okay, this is getting a little romantic now, but... I love how he described that though, like you don't get stopped, you're just going slower. Well, I would predict something not too great. Curse technique red. I mean, the only conclusion I can reach from watching this is like, yeah, Gojo knows his shit. I have no idea what he's doing and, you know, what powers he possesses, but they must be absolutely insane. Wow, this music. He told him that? Well, but that was about killing him, right? Oh, so maybe now he's gonna be forced to actually use that prison realm then. Exactly. He wanted to give it a shot first and now realizes that it's pointless. How did he show up here? Mount Fuji. Oh man. Yeah, I thought he was still watching movies with the plushie. Or the doll. Dude, is this supposed to be Lord of the Rings? Awesome. Yo, I have them literally in the background here somewhere. There. I'm sorry guys, I just had a literal fanboy moment because those are my favorite movies. He just warped him in here. Oh no! I mean, this is bad news because now Sukuna can take over, perhaps. Wow, just taunting the guy. Yeah, he doesn't like that. You can say what you want, but this curse is like full of himself. We could already tell last episode. Yeah. Had Gojo expected that though? I guess so. He's still he's still smirking. Oh. Maybe not this though. Okay, he just literally put him in his volcanic environment. Should have called it Mount Doom. Oh. Damn, that character was looking like Mega Man. Gandalf. Oh, you just gotta love the little visualizations. Oh no, is he about to take the thing off? Oh shit. I mean, I've seen him do it already in the movie. Yeah, there's blue eyes. Infinite void. Holy shit. So infinity really is his thing. What the fuck is happening anymore, man? Somebody just spilled milk on your screen. Okay. This is some weird psychological state. Every action involved in living? I mean, that would just be kind of overwhelming. Shouldn't you feel a bunch of pain too then? I mean, he's gonna feel a bunch of pain now. Oh, just beheaded him like that. Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of figured that already in all fairness. Oh, they were watching from a distance. Is this not the same one that we saw? I was gonna say, I mean, he's not gonna admit to anything, I guess. Oh. Isn't this from the curse that we just saw? What the? Oh my god, this... What is even happening anymore, dude? Yeah, he's using stealth. I need myself a teacher like this. Oh my god, speed it up even more. Oh, okay, so that exchange event is still a little while away then. Oh, you didn't even hear about that yet, yeah. Oh, the principal. I haven't seen him since episode 2. That guy is always so nervous. You wonder if Gojo should not have figured that if there were curses teaming up, that Geto might be behind it, you know? Again, knowing what I know of the movie. Who is this? Mahito? I've seen this character, I think, briefly in the opening. Okay, so that's the... Wow, so we have a character even higher up than Geto then, I guess? I just love how creative this show sometimes can get with its powers, but then what I think I especially appreciate as a viewer myself is how they do go the extra mile of actually explaining these things away sometimes, because I think this is something that I had called out from the very start of the show, from episode 1, that like looking at it from a surface level, all this supernatural stuff is not something that I normally gravitate towards much or whatever. I always want to be able to make sense of things, and, you know, supernatural stuff is obviously something that as a rational human being you can make sense of. But then here, it's in this battle between Gojo and I think the volcano curse was actually called Jogo, so I found that kind of hilarious, Gojo versus Jogo, but okay. They actually explain... or at least, you know, all the moves that Gojo used, they have something to do with, like, infinity, right? So we saw that with the innate domains, too, where he used this infinity void stuff, right? But then again, as he's explaining how he has this barrier around him, he says that it's actually not Jogo then being halted in his move, because he tried to touch him, but he couldn't, right? And he explains it as like, no, your hand is actually going slower and slower and slower. It's just hard to see because it's only a small space seemingly between us, but it actually is infinity. And so, again, it's like a small thing to point out, I guess, but I love how they're doing that, because to me, that makes it all the more cooler. That makes it all the more for a viewer like myself to actually appreciate it, you know what I mean? Other than that, of course, there is not like a whole lot to say about this episode, because it was just super action-packed, and it's awesome how they keep throwing in the humor in there too, right? I mean, I think Gojo was kind of right. Like, there was something, on one hand, definitely the curse that he was fighting was still powerful and intimidating, but it also had something almost, he had something almost pathetic about him, right? Something cute, to put it like that, where like he could not handle the slightest amount of criticism or being put in his place or being taunted and stuff, right? I have to call it out, but like, I love how they threw a Lord of the Rings reference in there. Just came completely out of nowhere, and me being a fanboy of the movies who has seen them, you know, 50 times, and I literally have the movies in the background here behind me. So I obviously love that. I think that goes without saying. Yeah, and then really, like, story-wise, again, there's not a whole lot to touch on. I mean, it was funny to see Gojo just summon Yuji there out of nowhere, literally to just show him, like, look, this is a learning lesson for you, so I'll just make you part of it and stuff. But then it was very much just the little entities that definitely still came out of nowhere, because, you know, I explained it already. I think for me now, having seen the movie, it's easy to understand who Geto is, and it's interesting because the show still hasn't really explained it much, but then they actually give you this extra detail now, and I've already forgotten the name because they only said it once. But there's apparently somebody even higher up than Geto, I guess, who he is obeying towards or whatever, right? Or who is actually in command then, I guess. So no idea who this character is. It has a very interesting design with like scars all over his face or whatever, right? Yeah, well, it's not really scars, but it's like, God, I don't even know what that's called. But like he used to be hurt there and then they patched it up or whatever, right? That's what it is. But yeah, this long white hair that he has, I guess. I have no idea who it is that we're actually dealing with, because again, I don't think that character was even in the movie, from what I can remember. But unless he really showed up for a brief second or something. But again, it always seemed like Geto was the one in command, to put it like that, in the movie too. So who is this guy that he is now in command of? That's definitely a big question mark to me. Yeah. Other than that, guys, I really enjoyed this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. All the stuff that I kind of talked about in the intro, of course, didn't come to fruition yet. We did not see Sukuna yet. This was all about that fight, which we kind of knew going into it. So, yeah. Like I said, that's basically all that I can say for now. So I hope you enjoyed my reaction to the episode. Of course, guys, if you did, then the next 4 episodes will already be up over on my Patreon, which is linked on top of the description. Over there, you can watch all the way up until episode 11 right now, along with, of course, the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie as well. That's a I think you can watch both the full length version, but there's also an edit up, a YouTube edit of about an hour. So yeah, it's it's essentially the same as like 8 episodes you can watch ahead already. But definitely, again, you can go and check that out if you want to. And then for now, I want to thank you for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you back in the next episode.